matchup.
All right, Yaunji Leon, that is not Breyer. It's good. So, yeah, we're just going to get that sorted out real quick. But Yaunji's on Fi. We see it right there, much as Chad Burton is on Viserai, and we've seen what Viserai can do and how it can really stack on the pain.
Now, this is really interesting. He's choosing to go searching on turn 0 for the Mordred Tide because he has in his hand a Read the Runes. And Read the Runes is one of those cards that you include in your deck if you can go first, so that you have the chance of drawing into it, because if you do, you can just start the game with extra rune chance in play. And not only that, in this case, he's going to start the game with many rune chance, a non-zero amount of rune chance in play.
I got to give much love to Yaunji, who's busting out that white border Mask of Momentum. You absolute stud. I love you, buddy. That's exactly how I want to see it.
That is exactly how you want to open the game as turn 0 Viserai is finding those combo pieces and setting up that many. Look, you have 7 rune chance in play. Your opponent effectively is starting at 7 less health. You can think of it that way, especially if they are not interested in pitching for Arcane Barrier. And oh, by the way, Yaunji is not, because he didn't bring it.
That's not fair. Chad Burton here is like the Scrooge McDuck of rune chance, just sitting on his hordes of money. He's eventually going to send them his Yaunji's way, but in this case, we're already busting out the Snapdragon Scalers like right out of the gate.
And what this is all off of the backs of a horrible draw for Yaunji, because normally you would not make that play and you would block you would just be like, cool, I'm going to draw up at the end of this turn, so I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. I'm going to find a good red starter as not Breyer, but as Fi, and I'm just going to jam cards down right on my turn. But because they didn't give me the option to filter my hand and block, I have to do this weird play where I snap a card that doesn't have go again and then follow it up and for a measly 10 damage.
Measly. What is this damage economy we're living in? We're in a damage recession is what we're in right now. As 10, not that much, but look at Chad just again signing the check for it, no problem. Rubber stamp that damage.
And he does get the mask draw and then immediately goes into the arsenal. So if you're wondering why he drew a card and arsenaled it, there were no blocks made. Chad is playing with a 5-card hand. And he's doing so off of the start on a Mavrian Skies, which gives go again to Shrill, plus 7 rune chance, plus on-hit effect of making more rune chance, plus 1.5 billion damage.
Oh, yeah. No, that rounded up, though, to 1.5 billion.
I did actually round that up.
Now,
Don't tell anyone.
Is that like 1.5 billion in terms of like 1.5 billion, or is it 1 billion
and a half of one? That's
okay.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. We round those down. I also want to make note, check out the Snapdragon Scalers and the sleeves that those are in. That is Hayden Dale's face.
Yes, it is.
That is an iconic image right now. That is basically the Mona Lisa of Flesh and Blood is that image right there.
It is a fantastic photo. I do also want to point out that there's a Revel in Rune Blood in Chad's hand, and he can play that at instant speed if he pitches the last card and Rosetta for a bunch more rune chant damage, which would be pretty sick. And look, he's not even going to pitch. He's just going to crack the old Aether Ironweave, gain some resources, and just do it normal.
I guess in this case, you'll be able to preserve an arsenal, I suppose, and then you'll be able to go through, and it's Revel. So 6 rune chance plus the 2/2 off of the Rosetta. That's another 10 spot that Yaunji's going to have to digest here, and without Arcane Barrier, at least 6 of that, at least 8 of that is just going to be tallied up.
And this buys you a 5-card hand next turn, and the arsenal card being a Mavrian Skies. And so this game is not going to go to the second cycle. Just wanted to share this with everyone. Don't expect these decks to cycle once, because the game is probably over within the next 35 seconds at the rate that these players are going.
What do we mention to as I won't mention it. We'll talk about it later. But ultimately, yeah, both players at basically playing like they've got movie tickets.
It's a hair on fire offense, as they say.
And I mean, look at Fi. That's actually what he looks like.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So looking at the consideration of blocking a physical on here for the 2, and he is going to throw down
that Soulbeat Strike.
Beautiful Soulbeat Strike. Hey, I actually got the opportunity to spoil that card in Crucible of War. It's a beautiful card.
Now, which one did you do? You did red, right?
I did. I spoiled the red Soulbeat Strike and the entire combo line, which was very cool.
Super
awesome.
awesome.
Really cool combo line as well.
Continuing to present damage over here, Chad Burton does have the benefit of having, you know, a little heftier life total, but again, it's still very early in this game. But a lot of the equipment has been used. The Snapdragon Scalers are gone. The Furnace has a counter on it. The Mask of Momentum, that's going to stick around probably until it's vitally needed. And on the other hand, you still have 2 block plus 1 off the Grasp. You have the Crown of Providence that can cycle in block 2.
And this is fun. We have a Find Center here, which is actually going to create, I believe, hit and create a Zen State. No, you know what? It didn't follow the combo line. I should know that. I also spoiled that card as well. But if it had made a Zen State token, how hype would that have been?
Oh, it's great.
Quite hype.
Hitting a Zen State token against a chain in the Seeds meta at an RTN was the best thing I ever did in my life. And then Isaac Root beat me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Dang it. Well, you know what? We do have a Mavrian Skies into a Swarming Gloomveil. Both of those cards I have heard are good. Write that down. Take it to the bank. 3 go again. 3 go again, following it up. It is interesting. The Mavrian Skies here not really giving go again because go again is already gained off of the Rune Chant creation, but it is giving an on-hit effect. So it is something to be respecting if you want to avoid more Rune Chant generation.
Certainly, and again, when it comes down to it, if you don't have the protection, you don't have the Arcane Barrier, dealing with Rune Chants is going to be nasty. So you got to think about these little pieces as well. It's not just about like, okay, well, it doesn't have the go again. That's not the whole picture here. There's added text to the Mavrian Skies, and there's that's the one I spoiled.
That's right. Look at this is a great game for us. Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. If there's one word that you can use to describe this, what would you say that would be, Stephen Cookus?
And this is just a word that popped into my head. Really, it's more of a statement than a word.
Oh, I wanted that one.
And I'm not going to lie to you. When I see this Rattlebones come down, I'm like, by God, this is amazing. This is incredible.
By God, that man had a family. Perfect.
That is correct. So he's going to Rattlebones in the Swarming Gloomveil, which in and of itself is a fantastic play because it generates Rune Chants. By doing this and guaranteeing the go again, you can do some very, very cool things with Rattlebones. One of my favorite cards just in Runeblade, period, end of story, because it can just do some insane stuff. And in this case, it just enables go again when you normally wouldn't have it.
And in terms of cards out of Everfest that have been immensely impactful, the Swarming Gloomveil up there is like kind of your MVP.
It is, yeah, I would say out of all the cards in that Everfest, spoiler season, that is definitely one of the top.
All right, pitching, that's a blue snatch.
It is coming across with, I believe, no, that's not Rising Resentment. It's Mounting Anger. Coming across for 4 with go again, pushing that break point. Got the old natural go again. So they were like, hey, do we need to represent it with the token there? Hey, look at Chad in hand has another Revel. And so this is a really interesting moment to decide whether or not you want to commit to blocking or if you're just committing to the race for the next 2 turns, and this game would be over in a few turns.
We haven't seen an Artivore yet. There's the 2 that all you gots from that basically rounds out all of Yaunji's yellow pitch on his list as well. When it comes to... Hey,
and look at that!
You know what?
Called it like
I
a
absolutely
champ.
did. It's called being a Jedi. Okay,
it's impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I know that this took place in the past, but I did feel feel it out a little bit. But there's the Artivore. The option here seems to have been a banish to draw 2 and the +1. There is that is a Brand with Cinderclaw.
And I believe that is the card that he banished a Snatch, I believe. Now he's pushing the Brand with Cinderclaw forward for 4.
Yep, 4 go again, giving the next Chain Link Draconic as well. And frankly, those Artivore turns are what really, push the tempo on certain turns. There was, at Canadian Nationals, David Rude, I believe, pulled off a triple Artivore turn to close out a game, and
that's incredible.
It was nasty, and he was like, "Yeah, it felt dirty, but yeah, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes." As you can see here, Yaunji just being freewheeling with the cards and the pen, throwing it around like it means nothing.
Is pushing a lot of damage on this turn and trying to follow it up again because he's drawing off of Mask. It's allowing him to really, well, he's threatening drawing off of Mask, I believe. It's allowing him to really stretch this turn out. Gonna come in after not paying anything. I believe it's free just to come in for 2 with the Phoenix Flame here.
Yeah, the Phoenix Flame comes in for free again, +1 off of the Art of War. It looks like the turn is being cleaned up here. That was quite the combat chain. Lots of cards there. You can see Yaunji just tossing cards around like it's this big old,
Like
flesh and
going out of style.
this big-time card game jamboree.
And Chad did not want to give up a card. He had a 5-card hand after that Crown of Providence. Yeah, Crown of Providence break, I believe, is what got him that 5th card. And he knew that with the hand that he had, he can present insane amounts of damage himself. Yes, there was a draw off the Mask of Momentum on that previous turn. Yes, you were able to push a lot of damage, but check out what I can do.
Is this going to be a Creepers situation here?
It depends on what other cards he has in his hand, because he already has...
There's a Revel. I see a Revel, yeah.
He's got the Revel in hand. He is... I don't know if he's floating a resource here, or if he's invested all of it based on the card he's played. It looks like the card is covered up, but it is representing 6 physical, so I would imagine it's Spellblade Assault or Strike. I get those two mixed up sometimes. Strike and Assault. And there's the Mask block.
All right, so the Mask is no longer in play. We're just going to go ahead and see if we can soak as much damage as possible. We're going to Creepers in. Revel and Rune Blood. Sinking on top of this, we're going to go ahead and bottom a card. Why not?
Now creating the 9 Rune Chance here, and yeah, that is a Creeper activation, of course, to play that at instant speed, but this is going to represent 9 + 2 + 2, which reminds me of that Clue moment where 1 + 2 + 2 + 1. You just got to do the math on it. You ever seen Clue?
I've seen the you mean the game?
No, I mean the fantastic movie.
No, never. Absolutely not. There's murder in that, and murder is bad, Stephen Cookus.
It's generally frowned upon. I agree. This pushes so much damage all the way. Yaunji moves all the way down to 3. He's got a 3-card hand here and an arsenal, and looking to try and represent 13 damage.
Just the mess that's on Yaunji's side is giving me like anxiety right now. Like the deck is like horizontal. It's spread all over the place. The graveyard's spread out. The equipment is just this this like mess. I see 3 Hayden Dale Mona Lisa portraits going on. But ultimately, we're presenting 3 in this case. That's not bad.
And again, this is a moment where Chad is looking at this thinking, do I give cards to this, or can I just represent 3 damage as easily as, like, non-attack, attack, Rosetta?
All right, so we're at that critical juncture here where the players are going to start donating cards to blocking. The advantage, I feel, is to Chad, who can actually start generating Rune Chance and actually crunching through with damage that Yaunji has no recourse against.
That's exactly right, because that is, at this point, when you see this scenario as a Runeblade player, you always play for arcane damage because it's unblockable. And that's quintessential. I can put you on a clock. And so you try in any way, shape, or form to keep cards in hand that allow your opponent to be on a clock. Whether it's a 1-turn clock, like I kill you on this turn, or it's a 2-turn clock, like you can't do anything about it over the next turn or 2, and I just have to survive. That's what he's doing here.
Chad's got to feel kind of confident over here that, if a lot of his cards are blocking for 3, maybe you leak 3 through, but you pitch a blue, you swing Rosetta with a Rune Chat. And if you can continue that, then like you said, Yaunji's fuse is going to be lit, and it's going to be running out soon. As Yaunji pocketing a card here, the damage is done. It's 9-3 in favor of Chad Burton. Chad's got 2 cards in hand, I believe, right now.
Yeah, it is. 2 cards in hand. He's going to play it. Wow, this is huge. Rattlebones into... Yeah, and he knows that's lethal. Rattlebones into Swarming Gloomveil is go again.